He was the first black writer because the first one debuted in the 1940s, and he wasn't the main one on it, but he added some stuff to a comic issue. But he would be the first one, I guess, headlining his own comic. Somewhat. Okay. Alright, so let's start with the bit.
You know what I'm saying? What's that? I like that.
That was horrible.
Yeah. See, I heard like, oh yeah, I was gonna ask you, what would you do if you as soon as you went to work, Philly was like, hey Philly. I said, he doing one of those. He said, bloody.
Oh my god. I was like, how do you even know?
He said, I saw your video on the Twitter page.
I just be like, thanks for the support, man.
He said, you wanna get on your video? No? You wouldn't let him get on the video?
I don't know.
What if he asked you every day?
No, because then people would know who your hurt is.
We call him. But we can't crack it.
No.
You heard joke.
He would be the joke himself. He would know. Well, no, he wouldn't know.
He wouldn't know.
He would
just be
but people would know who he is based on what he does.
Mm-hmm. True.
Alright, man, you get up, start your bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, come on, man.
Hey, Billy, just ate some Wendy's. You know what they call that?
No, what they call that, Philly?
Payback. Payback.
Some payback.
Get some of that payback, man.
What's up, guys?
I'm Kyle.
I'm Phil.
Welcome to KMP's Comic World.
What you just saw there was a debut of our prototype merch. This is a famous quote of one of our favorite characters in
Life.
Yes, in life. We're gonna solidify this quote in history.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what they call that? Payback.
Payback.
Payback. But that's not the point of this video.
Yeah, so this video is going to be about... Okay, so this video, we're starting a new series just for February.
Black History Month.
Black History Month. And it's called Black Guys, Black Comics, Black Heroes. Alright, so let's do it over. Black Guys, Black Comics, Black Heroes. Alright? So this series is going to be about just what it sounds like Black heroes during the month of February. We're just going to give them their origin stories, you know, kind of like their, I should say that like their come up, or just how they got to where they are now, their relevance in whatever universe they're in, Marvel, DC, or maybe another universe that's neither of those. And that'll basically be it. So it'll just be origins.
Yeah. So a lot of them are probably going to be more unknown because of their age and their but they are historically significant to the African American heroes and just African heroes that we have today. So some of them you may know, some of them you may know, but most of them you probably won't because of their age. We didn't even know who these people were until we looked into them. So yeah, we're just rolling this out for the entire month of February. We're trying to do based on, I guess, like
earliest to like most recent. Basically.
Earliest, and it's not just based on, you know, like who came first or whatever, but like its historical significance, you know, which includes the first ones and also the ones that were authored by African American writers. So we're gonna try to dive into it a little deep and, you know, just see what we find. But for right now, we're gonna jump into our first hero, the first ever, I guess, recorded black hero that we found.
Yeah, as far as the main universe, DC or Marvel, this is like basically the first one to our knowledge. Basically, yeah. and his name is Luther.
Lothar.
Lothar, right? And Lothar is technically he's like a crime fighting partner for Mandrake. And I feel like most people would have at least heard Mandrake if they have not heard anything about Lothar.
Mandrake the magician.
Yeah.
Father of what's her name?
Zatanna.
Zatanna.
Yeah,
The
Zatanna.
famous
Magician.
superhero in DC.
Yeah. She always wears that long big hat, kind of like a tuxedo kind of thing. But so let me go back. All right. So Lothar was a hero in DC universe. He's been in 455 issues. So 455 separate issues in the DC universe, which is kind of crazy, And I never heard of this dude.
Ever.
He really left his mark, or continued to leave his mark, because technically, I guess in the DC universe, he never died. So he's
still going strong.
Yeah, still going strong. He was first introduced in 1930s, but later got like a kind of a co-starring like a comic book or series in 1954, around that time, in 1950s, and then he had like a remake in the 1960s, right? So the 1950s version, he was kind of portrayed as just like a muscle guy, didn't speak no English. He had short shorts.
This is the 1930s or 50s?
This is the 50s.
50?
Yeah. Oh. So 50s is when his series with Mandrake was.
I thought, 1950s. No, 1930s was when he was in, because he came out in the 1930s with Mandrake.
Yeah, but he was like a side character.
Oh, so this is when they became like equal partners.
Yeah, not equal partners, but he was more relevant in the Mandrake comics. Like, because at first he was always just a black superhero kind of in the background. Kind of, yeah. But I think 1950s is when they fleshed him out more. At least that's my understanding. But the original Lothar, he wore fez, he wore like super short shorts, like booty shorts almost, and he had on like leopard kind of sack. You know what I'm saying?
Like Tarzan.
Yeah, kind of like Tarzan. Yeah. And I knew like the short thing. It was just like the style in the 50s, 40s, whatever. I don't know, or maybe that was, I don't know. But in that version of him, he was portrayed as being like
a dunce.
Yeah, like a manservant basically, like a stupid. He's just there for muscle and that's it. And he later got modernized in the 1960s. They give him modern clothes. He speaks normal English. You know what I'm saying? He's just stronger, and they fleshed out his abilities more. Oh, well, kind of. They never really fleshed out his abilities. It's kind of just more.
Did they really talk about him?
No, not like the extent of his abilities. It's just more of like a overall like consensus based on like what he does in the issues. Let's see. Yeah. So his powers include like stamina, super strength. He has like a camouflage or a stealth mode, or not mode, but like the ability to just blend into things, kind of. And
because the cheetah print.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's stupid.
And they said he learned how to use a lot of firearms very skillfully, just from going on adventures with Mandrake.
No, that's that African warlord stigma they was trying to stick on him.
Almost, man. Let's see, and he also has really good hand-to-hand combat. And then unlike, which is kind of the first, people call him like the first kind of Wakanda kind of type character, because he was also not super rich, but he definitely wasn't poor or anything like that from his country. But let me see, you can do the other half. So, this part down.
Alright, so so Mandrake and Lothar, they were like one of the first interracial crime fighting teams, so that was pretty big for that time. I guess they mainly started partnering up as, because Mandrake was always traveling through Africa, and I guess Mandrake decided to take him under his wing, or I guess that's how they portrayed it, I don't know. And in the comic books, he was always called Lothar, the king of, or the prince of 7 nations, So, like Kyle said, he was pretty much rich, and that's part of the reason why, because he was an actual prince. Uh, he was set to be the king of whatever his kingdom was, but he decided to give that up to fight crime with Mandrake throughout Africa or wherever they traveled. Yeah, so like he said, she showed up in over 455 issues, and that's starting from the 1930s up until. Oh, I mean, yeah, stop doing it. Yeah, like Kyle said, he appeared in about 455 comic book issues, and that's starting back from the 1930s when he first showed up in Mandrake's comic, and up until this, like, did they end around the 60s or the 80s when the show?
The show was in the 80s. The comic books was in the 60s.
Okay,
so the show was separate.
So the comic books kind of ended around the 60s?
I assume so, yeah.
So, yeah, and then even after the 60s, he came back in the Defenders of the Earth show with Flash Gordon, the Phantom, and Ming the Merciless. So he's been a pretty well-rounded character. You know, he's had a lot of, I guess, exposure. Yeah, but we still didn't know anything about this guy. Well, we're not really DC like that.
That's also true, yeah.
Yeah, but still, even most of the other characters we looked up, we really didn't know anything about. We dived deep. We did.
Yeah.
And we found the greatest of the black heroes.
Payback.
So, this Lothar is just the first of the collection of heroes that we have discovered. He's one of the most significant, considering he kind of started the trend.
Yeah.
Black superheroes being a prominent thing and not something that is very rare, you know, and very proud of that, you know, and that's good on DC because, you know, even though they portrayed him as a dunce, I guess it's not an excuse, but it was that time, and a lot of literature and stuff, you know, is based around that time era that they were written in. So that is just, you know, this comic is just a reflection of that in a way. It's not a great thing, but it is a step up considering that the time that he was introduced in, that they, you know, he was even considered to be written in the book as a sidekick and not just, he wasn't directly exposed as a slave or something like that, you know, and they actually made him a prominent and wealthy character. So yeah. I think that is very forward thinking for DC, because they were kind of forward thinking more with gender than with race during their time.
I agree.
And Marvel was kind of the one who was more ahead with race, somewhat, especially when Stan Lee came in.
Yeah.
So, you know, just seeing that DC had the first ever black superhero that,
to our knowledge.
Yeah, to our knowledge, that was, you know, had as much exposure as Lothar did. Anyways, that's it's very forward. You know, so. You know, I like that.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be the end of the video. If you have any heroes you want us to do oranges on, popular or not, just hit us in the comments or anything, or you can hit us up on Twitch. Link in the description. Subscribe to the channel, like us, share us, favorite us. What else can people do? Follow us on Twitch. Yeah. I'm Kyle.
I'm Phil.
This is KMP's Comic World. And remember,
you're gonna bounce.
You're on fire.
So be on the lookout for some more videos. We'll be throwing them out this entire month. So it should be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping to get some more exposure.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys next time.